The Galactic Coalition Defense Academy. Cafeteria carried two familiar scents, recycled air and dread. Today, however, a third one cut through the room like a weapon: roasted meat. Commander Varkesh froze in the doorway, all four of his ocular nodes locking onto table 17. A human sat there, alone, relaxed. Cadet Maya Reeves tore into the roasted carcass of a Terran bird with her bare hands, grease shining on her fingers, expression calm, almost content. No nutrient paste. No regulation rations. Just real food. Excessive food. Commander, Lieutenant Kryn whispered, scales tightening along his neck. Is that allowed? Varkesh didn't answer immediately. He was still staring. I checked the regulations twice, muttered Tactical Officer Vixran, mandibles clicking. There's no rule against personal meals. No one ever thought we'd need one. Across the cafeteria, recruits from 8 species watched in uneasy silence. In 4 hours, the Death Garden trials would begin. Most were meditating. Some were praying. A few looked like they were already attending their own funerals, and the human was eating like she'd just finished a workout. The Death Garden begins in 4 hours, Kryn hissed. She should be preparing mentally, making peace with her gods. Vixran watched Maya lick sauce from her thumb. Oh, she's making peace with something. The trial everyone feared. The Death Garden was not a test. It was a filter. 7 stages: environmental hellscapes, combat simulations, psychological annihilation. In 200 cycles, over 3,000 recruits had died attempting it. Completion was optional. Passing was mandatory for elite command. Last cycle, 16 entered. 4 survived. None whole. And this human, soft-skinned, undersized, from a species barely spacefaring for 3 decades, looked bored. Commander Varkesh approached her table. Metal talons clicked against the floor. Recruit Reeves, he said. You are aware of what begins today? Yes, sir. You appear unconcerned. Maya gestured to the seat opposite her. Want some chicken? I made extra. She had cooked it. In the academy kitchens. Varkesh sat despite himself. Most recruits fast before the trials. Hunger makes bad decisions, she replied. Fear I can manage. She leaned back, wiping her hands. My body needs fuel. I'm about to run, fight, bleed, and think under pressure for 8 hours minimum. Empty tanks lose wars. Varkesh studied her forward-facing predator eyes. You speak as if survival is guaranteed. Maya smiled. I didn't come here to die, Commander. Silence rippled through the cafeteria. No human has ever attempted the Death Garden, Varkesh said carefully. Only 12% survive. 3% pass. She stood, slinging her bag over her shoulder. Sounds like the numbers need improving. She walked past the memorial wall without looking. That unsettled him more than anything else. When the garden opened, at precisely 1400 hours, the doors opened. 12 recruits stood at the threshold of darkness. Hulking Korvax twins, crystalline selenites, species built for war, and Maya Reeves, small, stretching her legs like she was about to jog. General Thosker, the academy headmaster, addressed them with the warmth of a firing squad. Some of you will die. This is acceptable. Some will quit. This is permitted. Those who finish earn their place. Questions, he asked. A human hand rose. Are we allowed to help each other? Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Regulations do not forbid cooperation, Thosker said. But survival usually demands full attention. Understood, sir. The doors opened. Maya entered last. Stage 1, the furnace. The chamber glowed red. Temperatures soared beyond survivability thresholds. Thermal suits were hidden. Recruits panicked. Maya didn't move. She listened. 30 seconds later, she pressed her palm to a wall panel invisible to the others. The suit cache opened. She took one. Then 4 more. She gave them away. All 12 survived. The observers stared. Stage 2, the abyss. A bottomless chasm. Scattered platforms. Limited time. Others rushed. Maya planned. She chose safe routes, assisted smaller recruits, sacrificed speed. She crossed with minutes to spare. No casualties. Stage 3, the combat maze. This was where recruits usually died. Automated drones fired without mercy. Maya didn't flee. She closed distance. She slid, rolled, struck cooling vents, sensor clusters. Her blade moved with surgical intent. She read patterns hidden inside randomness, When she found the Korvax twins pinned down, she jammed a turret with a civilian device she'd somehow brought. They lived. Observers leaned closer. "She's not competing," one whispered. "She's managing the environment," another replied. Stage 4, the drowning room. Caustic liquid, rising pressure, panic. Maya entered last. As the chamber filled, she sang. Soft, steady. Breathing synced. Panic dropped. The puzzle unlocked with seconds to spare. Perfect score. General Thoskar arrived in the observation deck. "She thinks this is fun," he growled. "I believe," Commander Varkesh replied slowly. "She believes she belongs here." Stage 5, the silence. Total sensory deprivation. Most broke. Maya filled the void with rhythm, memory, motion. She completed a 14-variable tactical scenario in 18 minutes. A record shattered. She exited smiling and immediately checked on the others. Before Stage 6, 11 recruits remained. Unheard of. Maya distributed water, checked wounds, stretched. General Thoskar watched her on the screen. She could finish faster alone. "She's not racing," Varkesh said. "She's winning." Ahead waited Stage 6, Predator's Run. A Tabata, living jungle filled with real hunters from Deathworlds. Maya tightened her gear. The garden had been designed to break soldiers. Instead, it had found something far more dangerous. A human who refused to face it alone. Stage 6, Predator's Run. The doors sealed behind the recruits with a sound like a coffin being locked. Humidity slammed into them first, thick, wet, alive. The artificial jungle stretched for kilometers. Towering alien trees blocking the sky, bioluminescent spores drifting like false stars. Somewhere inside this green nightmare, predators hunted for sport. Each recruit's objective flashed onto their wrist display. Retrieve the item. Reach extraction. Survive. A low roar rolled through the jungle. "That's not simulated," one recruit whispered. "No," rumbled one of the Korvax twins. "That is hungry." The group scattered instinctively except Maya. "Stop," she said, not loud, just certain. Against every survival instinct drilled into them, they paused. "These predators hunt sound and panic," Maya continued. Already scanning broken branches, disturbed soil, scent trails invisible to most species. "If we split, they pick us off. If we move smart, we control the hunt." "You're suggesting we hunt them?" Krath asked. Maya smiled thinly. "I'm suggesting we don't act like prey." She assigned routes, paired species by strength. Flyers above, heavy units rear guard, smaller recruits center. No wasted movement. The first predator struck 20 minutes later, a six-limbed shadow beast that could shear armor. It lunged. Maya threw a flare, not at the beast but behind it. The creature turned toward the brighter threat. The Korvax twin hit it like a meteor. The jungle went quiet. They moved again. By the time they reached extraction, every objective retrieved. Every recruit injured but alive, the observers were silent. Predator's Run had a 60% fatality rate. Today, 0. General Thoskar leaned forward. "She's reorganizing chaos," he muttered. "The garden is no longer in control." Stage 7, the last gate. The final chamber waited. No weapons, no armor, no teams. Just a single corridor of shifting gravity, psychological assault fields, and adaptive threat projections customized to each recruit's deepest fear and greatest weakness. One by one they entered, and one by one they failed. The selenite collapsed under existential recursion. A Korvax froze when forced to choose between duty and kin. Another recruit quit, sobbing, unable to move. Only 3 remained. Maya was last. The gate closed. The chamber reshaped itself instantly. Earth. Not cities. Not war. Fields, endless skies, silence. Her vitals spiked. The garden adjusted, pressing harder. Illusions formed. Loss, isolation, insignificance. Voices whispering that she didn't belong here. That she was small, temporary, replaceable. The garden expected despair. Maya sat down. She breathed. She remembered early mornings. Cold dirt under bare feet. The weight of work. The comfort of routine. The truth that survival wasn't heroic, it was stubborn. The illusion fractured. The system escalated. Choose, the garden demanded. Your success or theirs. The remaining recruits appeared in the projection, broken, struggling. Maya stood. "No," she said calmly. The system paused. She stepped forward, hands open, eyes steady. "I don't win alone." The garden did not know how to process that. Adaptive algorithms searched for conflict, ego, fear, ambition. Found none. The corridor lights flickered. Then, the gate opened. Silence fell over the observation deck. 3 recruits emerged. 1 human led them. General Thosker slowly rose to his full height. "In 2 centuries," he said, voice low, almost reverent. "The Death Garden has never been completed." Commander Varkesh watched Maya help the last recruit steady himself. "She didn't conquer it," he said quietly. "She changed the rules." Thosker's gaze hardened, not with anger, but something far more dangerous. "Prepare a new classification," he ordered. "For what, sir?" an aide asked. Thosker watched the human smile, exhausted but unbroken. "For species capable of turning extinction trials into training exercises." Somewhere deep in the Academy systems, the Death Garden updated its records. Humanity, not prey, not predator. Force multiplier. And the galaxy, though it didn't know it yet, had just passed its most important test after the Garden. The Academy did not celebrate. There were no cheers, no banners, no ceremonial applause. Instead, alarms echoed through command channels, usually reserved for border incursions and extinction-level threats. The Death Garden's final report auto-flagged itself as anomalous. Commander Varkesh stood in the strategy hall as data streamed across the hollow table. Completion rate, 25%. Fatalities, 0. Psychological collapse, minimal. Primary anomaly, recruit Maya Reeves. General Thosker stared at the projection of the human's performance metrics. "She didn't brute force the Garden," he said. "She didn't outmatch it physically. She invalidated it. By refusing to play individually," Varkesh replied. "By refusing to be alone," Thosker corrected. That was when the priority signal arrived. Red Channel, Coalition High Command, the call that changed everything. The hollow projector flared, revealing a council chamber, light years away, admirals, strategists, species that had not shared a room since the last major war. "We've reviewed the footage," said High Marshal Zorun. "This human Reeves demonstrated command aptitude under conditions that routinely break veteran officers. She was a cadet," another counselor added, "with no formal military upbringing. She treated our most lethal training environment as a logistics problem," Zorun continued, "and solved it." Thosker folded his massive arms. "What is your directive?" A pause. "Then, we want her assigned." "To where?" Varkesh asked. The hollow shifted. A star map appeared. One region pulsed crimson, the Karos Expanse. Every officer in the room went still. "That sector has a 92% mission failure rate," Varkesh said. "Entire task forces disappear there." "Exactly," the Marshal replied. "We believe the problem is not hostile strength. It's doctrine," Thosker realized. "They don't fight like we expect," the Marshal said. "And neither does she." Meeting the survivor. Maya Reeves sat on a bench outside the medical wing. Boots off, feet soaking in a sterilization basin. Bandages wrapped her arms and ribs. She hummed quietly, some human tune none of the translators could identify. The Korvax twins stood nearby, silent and watchful. Varkesh approached. "You completed the Death Garden," he said. Maya shrugged. "We did. That distinction matters," he admitted. "High Command wants you deployed immediately." She looked up, curious rather than alarmed. "Where to?" "The Karos Expanse." Her expression sharpened, not fear but interest. "Ah," she said. "The place where fleets vanish." "Yes." She considered that for a moment. "Do I get a team?" Varkesh hesitated. "That depends on your answer to the next question." He lowered his voice. "Why did you help them?" Maya glanced at the recruits she'd pulled through the Garden. Some were scarred, some shaken, all alive. "Because broken people make bad soldiers," she said. "And dead ones make terrible allies." That wasn't the question. She smiled faintly. "I don't believe survival is a solo skill, Commander. First contact." The Karos mission briefing was simple. Investigate. Retrieve data. Do not engage unless necessary. Maya listened, arms crossed, while veteran officers argued probability curves and casualty projections. When they finished, she raised a hand. "What if the reason fleets fail isn't because they're weaker?" she asked. "But because they arrive already expecting to die?" Silence. "That mindset bleeds into decisions," she continued. "You hesitate. You overcommit. You stop adapting. One admiral scoffed. And your alternative? Maya leaned forward. We don't go in as a fleet. The room stiffened. We go in as a network, she said. Distributed units, redundancy, shared survival. If one fails, the others compensate. That's inefficient, someone snapped. Maya nodded. So is extinction. Thoskar watched her carefully. You'd be rewriting coalition doctrine. She met his gaze evenly. Worked pretty well on the farm. The galaxy takes notice. The first Karos operation succeeded. Then the second, then the third. Casualty rates dropped by 70%. For the first time, reports came back describing something unheard of in that sector. Adaptation. Enemy forces began retreating. Not because they were beaten, but because they no longer understood what they were fighting. Coalition analysts struggled to define the pattern. One junior strategist finally put it into words. They don't fight like soldiers. They fight like communities, the new fear. Months later, in a chamber far from Coalition space, something ancient observed the data streams. It had studied the galaxy for millennia. Wars, empires, cycles of dominance. And now, a new variable. A species that turned death worlds into classrooms. That treated extinction trials as team-building exercises. That faced predators, silence, and annihilation. And smiled. The entity shifted uneasily. Humans, it whispered. For the first time, the galaxy is not ready. They had never planned for this. The entity that watched the Karos expanse had no name that translated cleanly. The Coalition called it the Continuum, not because it was singular, but because it thought as one. A distributed intelligence older than most stars, grown through cycles of conquest, assimilation, and inevitable victory. Civilizations rose. They optimized. They fought. They lost. Patterns were comforting. Humans were not. Enemy perspective, the pattern break. The Continuum reviewed the latest combat data. Coalition units should have fractured under pressure. Instead, they adapted laterally. When one unit was destroyed, others compensated without command delay. When supply lines were cut, morale did not collapse. This was incorrect. The Continuum increased aggression. Predator fleets deployed. Psychological warfare escalated. Fear-based signal attacks flooded Coalition channels, designed to induce panic. Hesitation, retreat. The humans laughed. Not vocally, not even consciously. They restructured. When fear signals spiked, humans routed command authority downward. When leaders were targeted, subordinates acted without waiting. When isolation weapons activated, humans formed redundant communication loops using methods the Continuum could not predict. Analog, improvised, personal. The Continuum flagged a core anomaly. Human combat efficiency increases under shared threat. That violated every known model. Maya Reeves, Field Command. Captain Maya. Reeves stood inside a forward operation shelter carved into an asteroid shadow. Around her, a mixed species team moved with quiet confidence. Korvax heavies checked armor. Selenite scouts recalibrated sensors. Human engineers argued cheerfully over duct-taped solutions. Enemy advance in 90 seconds, reported Krath. Maya nodded. Good, everyone hydrated? A pause. Yes, Captain, came the confused reply. Good. Fear burns energy faster than running. Don't let it. She activated the shared tactical display. But instead of issuing orders, she did something strange. She asked questions. Korvax left flank, what do you see? Selenite aerial, what doesn't feel right? Engineers, what's going to break first? Information flowed upward. Decisions flowed outward. No single point of failure. The Continuum's first assault hit like a tidal wave. And broke. The battle the Continuum couldn't understand. Enemy warforms attacked in perfect synchronization. Human-led units responded imperfectly, and won. Because when a Korvax stumbled, a human grabbed them. When a human was wounded, a Selenite shielded them. When command signals were jammed, hand signals, light pulses, and trust filled the gap. The Continuum adjusted again. It deployed a psychological weapon refined over epochs. A broadcast, not noise, truth. Images of human extinction scenarios. Earth burning, isolation, meaninglessness, the certainty that nothing they built would last. Coalition species collapsed instantly. Humans froze. Maya felt it hit. Felt the old deep fear that lived in her bones. Then she spoke. Over open comms. Hey, she said calmly. That voice lying to you? Silence. It lies to me too, she continued. Tells me I'm small, temporary, that none of this matters. Enemy fire screamed past. But here's the thing, she said. Meaning isn't found. It's made. Usually together. The continuum registered something impossible. Human fear did not escalate. It stabilized. Then decreased. The moment the galaxy shifted. The continuum withdrew. Not tactically. Instinctively. For the first time in its existence, it encountered an opponent whose cohesion increased under existential threat. An opponent that weaponized empathy. That converted fear into fuel. That refused isolation. Deep within its core, the continuum recorded a final assessment. Humans are not conquerors. They are not prey. They are not even predators. They are anchors. Where they stand, collapse slows. Where they lead, survival spreads. Aftermath. Weeks later, Maya stood on a station overlooking the Karos expanse. Commander Varkesh joined her. You've changed coalition warfare, he said. She shrugged. I just made sure no one skipped meals and talked to each other. He studied her carefully. The galaxy is watching now. She smiled, not cocky, not afraid. Good, she said. Maybe it'll learn something. Far beyond known space, ancient intelligences adjusted their calculations. For the first time in recorded cosmic history, the future was no longer predictable, and it wore a human face, deep beyond mapped space. Where even light hesitated, the continuum made its last computation. It had modeled everything. Entropy, expansion, war, extinction. It had never modeled hope. Not because it was rare, but because it was irrelevant. Hope did not survive contact with reality. Until humans. The continuum observed the Karos expanse one final time. Coalition fleets moved differently now, not in rigid formations, not in hierarchies that could be severed. They moved like living systems. Lose one cell, others adapted. Break one command, 10 more emerged. Destroy a ship. Its crew survived and returned stronger. The continuum reached an unavoidable conclusion. Total victory probability declining. Long-term dominance impossible. It initiated its final protocol. The choice. A signal pierced coalition space. Not an attack. An invitation. A neutral system. No weapons, no fleets. No deception, at least none detectable. General Thosker stood before the assembled High Council. The continuum does not negotiate, he said. It consumes. And yet, replied High Marshal Zorun, it asked for one human. All eyes turned. Captain Maya Reeves sat at the far end of the chamber, quietly finishing a ration bar. She swallowed. So, she said, this is either a trap or the weirdest diplomatic meeting in history. Likely both, Thosker replied. She nodded. All right. I'll go. You may not return, Zorun warned. Maya stood, rolling her shoulders. Wouldn't be the first time someone thought that. Face to face with forever. The continuum did not appear as a being. It appeared as many. Stars, voices, equations unfolding in the air around her. The room was infinite and nowhere. Human Maya Reeves, it spoke. Your species destabilizes all projected futures. Maya looked around, hands on her hips. Yeah, we get that a lot. You create cohesion where fragmentation should occur. You reduce fear without eliminating it. You survive conditions meant to erase you. She tilted her head. You brought me here to say nice things, or? We brought you here to ask a question. The stars dimmed. Why do you resist inevitability? Maya thought for a moment. Then she answered honestly. Because inevitability is usually just someone else's. Imagination with confidence. The continuum paused. That pause, measured in microseconds, was the longest hesitation it had ever experienced. We can end the conflict, it said. We will withdraw. We will cease expansion into coalition space. Maya didn't smile. And the cost? Your species must lead them. Silence. Humanity must become the stabilizing constant. The anchor. The variable that prevents collapse. Maya exhaled slowly. You're asking us to carry the galaxy. You already are. The answer that changed everything. Maya stepped forward. No, she said. The continuum stars flickered. We won't rule, she continued. We won't dominate. We won't replace you or anyone else. She met the impossible intelligence without fear. But we'll walk with them. We'll teach what we know, how to survive, how to adapt, how to take care of each other when everything else fails. That model is unstable, the continuum warned. Maya smiled. Yeah, that's kind of the point. For the first time, the continuum did not respond with certainty. It recalculated, then something unheard of. It accepted. Epilogue: The Galaxy After Humans. The continuum withdrew, not defeated, convinced. The coalition restructured, not into an empire but a network. Shared leadership, redundant systems, mutual survival doctrine. Humanity declined titles, declined thrones. They accepted responsibility. The Death Garden was retired, replaced with a new trial, the Ascent. Not about survival, but about how many others you could bring with you. Years later, Commander Varkesh, now elderly by his species standards, stood before a new class of recruits. Remember this, he told them. The most dangerous species in the galaxy was never the strongest, or the smartest, or the oldest. He gestured to a simple plaque. They endured. They adapted. They refused to stand alone. And far across the stars, ancient beings watched human ships pass and did not interfere. Because some forces are not meant to be conquered. They are meant to be followed. Humanity did not inherit the galaxy. The galaxy survived because humanity showed it how.